Despite being over 10 months old, Meilin Fisher is still one of the very best supports in solo leveling Arise, who is amazing with the brand new Charhain. And when it comes to your Meilin Fisher's very best build, she does have 3 different very good ones that she can utilize, with the very first one being the 8 set effect of Burning Blessing. And the main reason for you using the 8 set effect of Burning Blessing is not only just going to be because of the buffs and healing that it does apply, but it is going to be mainly for the extra total power increase that you do benefit from the 8 set effect. But then for the second build for her, this is tailored around her ultimate skill and mainly her ultimate buff, because you'll be using the 4 set effect of Destroyer and pairing it with the 4 set effect of Sylph's Blessing, with the Destroyer set allowing your Meilin Fisher to increase her ultimate charge rate by an absolute ton, which will allow her to spam it even more often. And then for Sylph's Blessing, this is one of the best supportive damage increasing sets in the entire game, because it can increase your whole entire team's elemental weakness damage by up to 15%. And then for her final build, we'll once again be revisiting the Burning Blessing set. However, this time it will only be on its 4 set effect bonus, which means we'll only be able to get a 10% damage increase through Enhanced Blessing. And as well, just like the previous build, we'll be pairing the 4 set effect of Burning Blessing with Sylph's Blessing, giving you another 15% damage increase for your whole entire team, which will then total in a 25% damage dealt increase buff that your Meilin Fisher can then give out. And what's also very, very important for your Meilin Fisher is going to be the main stats for all of her artifact pieces. As for her helmet, her necklace, and her ring, additional HP is going to be her best main stat, but also HP percent is very, very good at the very same time. And then for her 2 last important artifact pieces, those are going to be her bracelet and also her boots. And for the main stats for these pieces, for her bracelet, with Meilin Fisher being of the water element, water damage percent is going to be the only main stat that she can benefit from for her bracelet. But then for her boots main stat, you can go for 2 different options, with either going for healing given increase, or you could go for HP percent. And when it does come to all of your Meilin Fisher's substats, she only really has 2 that she can actually benefit from, which is going to be additional HP and also HP percent, because this is what will help benefit the healing that she has through her first basic skill, Real Ash, as well as also the damage buff that she does apply through her exclusive weapon, which I will talk about in a little bit. So those are the only 2 really main important substats for her, but you can also just go for anything else that is going to help increase her total power by an absolute ton. Cores are up next, and for your Meilin Fisher, she doesn't really have anything in particular that is going to help increase her value a ton, because for example, for her best mind piece, the Eyes of the Watcher is going to be pretty much the only one that she can use for the increase of crit damage by 20% for her core attacks. And the same also goes for your body piece, because there's not one specifically that is very, very good for her, so I would just go for which one that you personally prefer, with my personal preference just being the Ancient Wraith's right hand for its 10% damage reduction that you can get for 10 seconds. However, then for her spirit core, she does have a couple different very good options that she can use, like the Teeth of the Watcher, which unfortunately, as you probably already know by now, it will decrease your MP recovery rate by 10%, but then in return what you then do get is a reduction in your skill mana point consumption by 12%, which will be very good in teamfight content, and even to some extent you could utilize the Ancient Wraith's mana power for its extra power gauge charging. So then for all of your core main and also substats, additional attack, defense, and HP, as well as also HP percent, will be all of your best main stats. And then for your core substats, like I said before, just go for literally anything that can help increase your Meilin Fisher's total power to be as high as it possibly can, so all of these substats are very good. With Meilin Fisher being a support, her advancements are also extremely important in increasing your team's damage. And this is because through stuff like her A1, she can enhance the So Cute buff that she normally would apply through her skill 2 to now increase the user's core attack damage by 32% for 8 seconds, which is very powerful for your Charhain. And then her A2 is also very good for the new anniversary Charhain at the same time, because it will increase all of your team members' attack and defense by 8%, which can then further be increased by another 8% for all of your water element team members. Her A3 is very powerful at charging all of your team members' power gauges, because when her first basic skill in Real Ash does hit, you can charge all of your team members' power gauge by 8%, and then when you hit an elite or higher monster, you can then charge it by another 8% again. And then her A4 is nothing special, because it will just increase her HP by 8%, but finally, her A5 is actually very, very good. And this is because the pumped up buff that she does apply is actually going to be further enhanced, and this is the buff that she does normally apply through her ultimate skill, which would normally increase your whole entire team's attack, defense, crit rate, core attack damage, and also damage reduction by 8%. However, once you do get her to A5, all of those 8% values are going to be doubled to increase all the way to 16%, which is going to give all of your team members a lot of extra damage. Also, for your Meilin Fisher's skill level priority, you don't really need to level up any, and this is because when you are leveling up your Meilin Fisher's skills, the only thing you're really going to be benefiting from is is an increase in your damage. And of course, with your Meilin Fisher, her job isn't really to deal any damage and is just to support your party with buffs and also healing. It does then mean when you are leveling up her skills, the only thing you'll benefit from is a total power increase, which is definitely still worth it. So when you are leveling up her skills, you can just follow the recommended skill level up order that you can see in game. Meilin Fisher's exclusive weapon is called Hook, Line and Sinker, and this is a very unique weapon because when the user does use Side Whip, which is her core attack, it will increase the damage of the team member with the highest attack by 1% for every 2000 of your Meilin Fisher's maximum HP for 12 seconds. But unfortunately, this damage increase does have a set cap of going up to 16%, which will then mean that you'll need at least 32,000 max HP for your Meilin Fisher. But also what is absolutely great about this weapon is it will then also further decrease her ultimate skill cooldown by 20%, which again will work very well with stuff like the Destroyer artifact set. So the next thing I want to talk about is going to be your Meilin Fisher's very best team, and since my last guide, her best team has changed quite a lot. And this is because her two new best teammates are going to be the likes of Soreen as your main breaker, and then also the brand new Pure Sword Princess Anniversary Charhain as your main DPS. And what is so great about your Soreen in benefiting the water team is going to be through her pinpoint missiles, because not only will this deal a good amount of damage, but it will also deal weak break damage as well, and with the amount that she does actually fire off, she's going to do a lot of break damage with them. And also for every missile that does then hit, she can also apply the Sub-Zero debuff, which will increase the target's water damage taken by 10%, which does then last for half a minute, so it's very easy to keep it up completely permanently. And then for your main DPS in your Pure Sword Princess Charhain, she is absolutely amazing because of stuff like her Will of the Sword buff that she applies to herself, and when you do combine that with the extra defense increases through her exclusive weapon Valkyrie's Oath, she can become arguably the best DPS in the entire game. And for this team's very best shadows, it does have a lot of different options for you to use, because for the Authority Leader you have a lot of different options with the likes of Egress, Tusk, and even the Ice Witch bestie are all very good. And then for your supportive shadows, Serby the Cerberus is still going to be the best supportive shadow in the game for the combustion debuff, followed up by the Ice Witch for defense penetration if you are taking this team into endgame content, or as well Beru and Iron are all fantastic. So then finally, let's talk about how you can best play Meilin Fisher. And with Meilin Fisher being a support, her skill rotation is very quick and easy to do, because all you have to do is bring her in with either her QTE skill, or you can just swap into her manually, which will then be followed up by you using her first basic skill to get all of the ult gauge charging and also all of the healing from it, followed up by her second basic skill so you can apply all of the core attack damage increases, and this will then allow you to use her core attack, because once you've used both of those two basic skills, she'll then be able to activate it. So then once you've used that core attack to then activate all of her damage increases through her weapon, you can then also use her ultimate skill if you do already have it, and then you can just bring in your main DPS to do all of their damage. So there you have it, that is a complete build guide to Meilin Fisher, and I actually can't believe she is still this good, despite her being one of the oldest units in the game. And overall, if you did enjoy this video, or you just found it useful in general, then don't forget to like and subscribe, and as always, I will see you all in the next video. Peace!